Right, it's Friday. I'm off work for 2 weeks. I've got naught to do. Well, I have. Probably. Missus will find something. Welcome back, everybody. Right then, first off, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that has helped me so far. So today, Friday, was the day that I hit me 1,000 subscribers. And I know everyone says it, but truly I never did believe that I'd ever manage to reach 1,000 subs. Now, for someone like me, that's quite a big milestone. Well, I suppose it is for anybody. You know, I only really started on YouTube in the first place because I've got 4 kids, and you know what kids are like. Oh, I bet you can't do this. And I initially said, oh, I bet you can't get 100 subscribers. So I thought, right, I'll show them. So that's how it started out, and now here we are, nearly not far off 12 months later. We're 1,000, so I want a massive thank you to everybody that subscribed to me, that watches my videos. It really does mean a great deal, and you can guarantee that there's going to be something coming up, some sort of giveaway, and I don't know what yet, but it's going to be something. What you can do, all you guys, if there's anything that you'd like to see offered as a giveaway, then drop it down in comments and let me know what you guys would like to have in the draw for a giveaway, because at this moment in time I can't really think of anything. But if you guys can have a think and see what you'd like to have in a giveaway, then do let me know. Other than that, I will think of something eventually, and we'll try and get something done pretty soon. So yeah, that's that. Now, what I want to speak about now, guys, is, if you remember back to my last video, I rearranged all my top-up situation. So I totally blanked my top-up tank off. But what I'm going to do now is, this was a comment I received in my last video, and it is something I'd thought of before but not really paid too much attention to, for the reasons I'll go into in a second. So, James Hudson, good man, you recommended this to me. So what I'm going to try is, I shall spin the camera around and I'll show you. It'll be better than trying to explain it face to face. So I'll spin camera around and I'll gear all up. Right then, so the plan of attack now, what I'm going to do is top up tank, wash pump. So what I'm going to do, at the minute my wash pump is connected to the clean side of the drum, right? So I'm going to disconnect that from my drum. I'm going to isolate it on this isolating valve. I'm going to take this bit of pipe out here, and then I'm going to run it. I'm going to connect it back in, run it underneath this stand, round the back, underneath, bring it back up. I'm going to bring it back into this pipe here, and then the wash pump will only be pulling from that tank. So that tank will be the feed for me wash pump. Now, well, also let me explain first. That will mean then that no water will be getting lost out my system. The only time then I will have to put more water into my system is when I do water changes or through evaporation. So the initial reason why I didn't go with this way to start with was because that feeds an expansion tank. It's an 18 litre expansion tank, right? Basically, is it set up at minute, it holds 18 litres of water. Now that wash pump is a high pressure pump, right? It pumps at 4.2 bar, and it flows at a flow rate of around 2,900 litres per hour. Now when you break it down, what that means is it's about 48 litres a minute, and if you break it down even further, it's about 0.8 litres a second, or just over. So my initial thought was that possibly the flow rate of the pump would have been too much for the expansion tank to handle, but I've worked it out and I think it'll be okay. So usually the wash pump, or it's supposed to wash for roughly 10 seconds. Now on that basis, if it washes for 10 seconds, then that will mean it will use about 8 litres of water on the wash cycle. So I'm still going to have plenty of water left in reserve inside tank, so fingers crossed we should be good and we shouldn't have any problems. So I'm going to give it a try. We can only but try. I'm going to get this lot disconnected, and I'm going to get a pipe teed into that feed pipe, so we'll go from there. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, that's that bit all sorted now then, guys. So we shall flip round and I'll give you a look at what I've done. Right, so the pressure pump has been disconnected from here where it was before. I don't know where you're going to see this under here. It goes under there, around the back of there, around there, elbows up there, across and into tank. So that's all good. Blanked that feed off into a drum there, and I've also reconnected my water pipe. This is only temporary. I'll do a better job of this at some point, probably, maybe never, if I can be bothered. But yeah, I'll part this up just to get it up and running. So feeds into tank, which will fill pipe into the pressure pump, and then I've left this tap connected because then I can use that to top up the pond as and when. So all that's left to do now is the big switch on for this, which is my ISO valve here, this one. So I shall let that get some water in it and then check it for leaks. It'll take a little while to fill up, so I'll be back with you guys in a sec. Right, we are back up and running, guys. Tank is filled up, pipework is filled up, water is in the pump. I bled the air out of the pump. All that's left to be tested now is how quickly this tank empties once the filter clean kicks in. So I'm going to try and put this camera down somewhere. It might be a bit difficult for you to see this anyway, how fast it is emptying, but I'm going to try my best. Right, I've got you guys on a tripod now, so I'm going to push the button and see what happens. It always helps to turn the pump back on, doesn't it? Try again. yeah, we're alright at that, I think. The wash never lasts that long, so I think we should be good at that. I'm going to let it fill back up again, and I'm going to count it and see. But I think we should be okay at that. Right, I'll try again. Right, that was about 22 seconds that, and that will pretty much more or less down to top it outlet in tank by looks on it. So I reckon we've got plenty in that to do what I need it to. So I'm going to call that one a success, guys. I think that's going to be the best shout. So James, cracking idea, mate. Tank's just big enough to do what we want it to, so that's going to stop any issues with chlorine working its way into its system. I'm probably barely going to have to top pond up, like I say, apart from when I do water changes or top it up through evaporation. So I shall monitor my pond levels, my pond parameters now, and see how we go from there. Now that there's nothing working its way into the system, because obviously, even though that water is going into a tank, what's got chlorine in it, it's going through my pressure pump and it's just going straight out spray bar into waste. So there's no issue there with that. So yeah, spot on. Well done to the England Lionesses too, pulling out a 2-1 win over Germany. Even if you're not a football fan, you know, it's still a good thing for the country at the end of the day. Now they've had the fun, they can get back to the kitchen. I'm only joking, don't take it personally. Also, what I've got planned in the pipeline, guys, is to get me skimmer work done. So as I said before, I'm separating me skimmer line from my drum filter, so that's going to get separated from there and blanked off, and then what I'm going to do with my skimmer, with this other pump I've got, I'm going to, it's going to get cut down there and then reduced down to 2 inch, across, down, back in through shed. So probably that back of all this crap is going to come through down there in 2 inch, right at the bottom, come through the side of my workbench, run all the way along through here, and then obviously I've got to take all this crap out. Think about sheds, innit? You build them for one purpose, and then they just get filled with crap, don't they? Typical. So yeah, all this I'm going to have to shift, and then my pump's going to be at the back of there, so straight into the pump, up out at pump, across back of there, and then above that pipe there, it's going to go back out my shed. Now I know what you're going to be thinking in a minute. Well, just let me go through it. So it's going to come back out my shed, along top of here, along top of this pipe here, straight along back of this wall, across, disconnect that from there. That's going to get blanked off down there, and it's just going to elbow up and into backy. Now I know what you're probably thinking. It needs a mechanical filter in between the skimmer and the backy shower, and I'd agree with that, but one, I haven't got one, and two, surface of my pond barely gets anything on it whatsoever. I mean barely anything. So what I'm hoping to do, just as a test run for now, see if I can do it, is I've got a basket for me skimmer, so I'm going to drop my basket in skimmer, and then if there is any larger particles what might get washed into the shower, then it'll get caught in basket. Like I say, nothing goes on surface of my pond at all really, because I've got a netting above on my pergola, so nothing comes in, you know, being dropped down from birds or anything like that. So yeah, I very rarely get anything on it, so I'm hoping I could get away without using a mechanical filter. And then, like I say, I'm just going to blast it over the top of my shower, and then any small bits of debris what might get caught up in the shower, the flow rate of the shower is just going to break it down anyway. Well, that's the plan, and wash it out. So I'll just have to see how that one plays out. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening. Notice I'm looking a bit fresher today, guys. Went for my hair chop this morning. Had my tabs lowered. Feel a lot better for it. So yeah. And I think, what else have I got? I thought I had something else to discuss. Nope, can't remember. When I remember, I'll come back to you. As I was discussing down there about how I'm going to have my pump under there, I'm going to put a couple of ball valves on it as well, so I can isolate it and take my pump out for maintenance if need be. I've salvaged a couple of old 2-inch ball valves what I had on my old pond. I've got old pipework out on them, what was stuck in. Just used an heat gun to get it out. There's one ball valve what I've salvaged. Don't let them go to waste, the expensive bit of kit. And another ball valve what I've salvaged. So all's good on that side. So I've got my ball valves. Not be buying any more of them. Certainly not cheap them, they're not. I've been having a bit of success getting a man feeding, guys. Typical Chago, he's taking out fun. Yeah, I've been doing a bit of water change, guys. It's nearly full now. Just done about 30% I did. Slightly higher than I'd usually do, but obviously with these nitrites, when I did my test this morning, my nitrite were up at nearly 1 part per million. So a water change were definitely in order. And I'm going to keep doing them until I've got it right down to where it needs to be, and then I'm just going to have to keep doing regular partial water changes to keep it in check until the filter kicks in properly. Now that I've done them changes that I needed to do with separating that tank, I'm pretty sure now that it should start coming in. And also, guys, this sake what I've been using, now I know, you know, fair enough, I've only been using it a few days, but in those few days I have noticed a massive improvement in my fish in terms of feeding behaviour, feeding patterns, and just, you know, the behaviour of the fish in general. They just seem like totally different fish. You know, the way they take food, you've just seen me hand feeding them. You know, and I've been trying to get them hand feeding for ages, and they've just never been interested. But since, I don't know whether it's just coincidence, but since I've been using this sake, and you know, they've been mopping sake up, you know, they just, like I say, they're just totally different fish. So it's looking like pond's about full now. My filters aren't running at the minute, so what I'm going to do before I turn my filters back on is I'm going to, these think they're getting some more. A few of these fish are going to be being moved on soon as well, guys. There's a Shirumuji there, what's going. What else? What else we got, what's going? The Kinmatsuba, what's down there? There's a Goromo in here, what's going? And this Yamatanishiki, that's going as well. So I have got someone that's interested in them, but if nothing develops from that, then I'll put details on for them fish. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So before I switch my filters back on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to whack some dechlorinator in, some sodium thiosulfate, and just leave it for half hour or so before I turn the filters back on. And that way there's no risk of any chlorine or anything working its way back into the biofilter, because I have got that isolated, and that's still full of water and still bubbling away just to keep bacteria alive. So yeah, that's nearly up to level it needs to be at. So that's just a bit of a short one, guys. Not much on this one really. So yeah, I guess next time I will be back with you guys when I'll be doing me alterations to my skimmer line. And like I said before at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for my 1,000 subs. So once again, thank everybody that watching my channel and supported me so far. Keep an eye out, and like I said, drop some comments if you've got any ideas of what you'd like to see as a giveaway, and we'll come up with something. So catch you next time, guys.